All right, everybody, this is Chuck from Funbearable, and today we are posting a recap episode. I want to thank everybody for checking out the TESD Town History Takeover, the TESD Town Takeover of Funbearable this month with Rupert, Brian Johnson, and Brian Nichelle so far. Episodes have been awesome. Response has been great. Thank you guys very much. Please subscribe to the podcast if you haven't. Rate, subscribe on iTunes, all that stuff. And right now, we're actually taking a week off of the takeover, but next week we'll be back with our final episode with Jimmy the Hair Guy. Very excited for that. But this week is going to be our annual Thanksgiving special. So what we do on Funbearable is we created the world's first true Thanksgiving mascot named Gibby the Thanksgiving Ghoul. And every year, a different member of the podcast writes a chapter in the story. So first year was 2022. I wrote the main meat of that one. Brad helped a little bit with that one. But then we decided every year it's going to rotate. So then 2023, Ray wrote chapter 2. And then this year, 2024, Brad is writing chapter 3. That will be out tomorrow. So you have a few days to check it out before Thanksgiving. But we wanted to give new listeners a little recap of the story of Gibby the Thanksgiving Ghoul so far. So here today is going to be just chapter 1 and chapter 2 to get you guys caught up to be ready for tomorrow's episode, chapter 3. So here is 2022's original Gibby the Thanksgiving Ghoul, chapter 1, written by me, with a little help from Brad.
No, don't read ahead. Don't read ahead.
No, I wouldn't dream of it.
Also, Brad printed this, and he chose to do it on both sides.
Double-sided?
I never would have chose that.
I was using Staten's landscaping resources, and I care about local businesses.
That is fair. That is fair. I would like to just say I will do this in the spirit of giving thanks.
Yep. Right.
I'm thankful for this podcast.
Me too.
I'm thankful for
you.
I'm thankful for the other 2/3 of the podcast.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thankful for our friendship, kinship, and professional working relationship.
Thank you for saying that before we start. Because when we're done,
yeah.
I would love
hold on. I'm also thankful
for the listeners.
For you. You, not you. You. Yes.
I would like a confirmation from you in the spirit of Thanksgiving that this will become our every year Thanksgiving thing forever and ever.
It just seems like we should get through it first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for Ray's forgiveness, like his forgiving attitude.
It's not called Forgivesgiving.
Oh boy!
Now can I say this? We do this kind of stuff once in a while on the podcast. We've done pitch doctors.
We just did it for Halloween.
We did. Yeah, we do stuff like this.
And we're probably going to do it for Christmas.
But I will say this.
It's a lot of scripted.
And Brad can speak to this. I think that the ideas here and how we did it, it's like suspiciously high quality.
It surprised me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have a ghostwriter?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
We had a ghoul writer.
Why does this say Michael Shea on the top?
But
so
in this, Ray is going to play Ray. I'm going to play Chuck. Brad is going to play Brad. And Brad's also going to serve as the narrator.
Right.
And you should probably voice.
You had to narrate a lot already.
Right.
For the Halloween
there's
one.
not a ton of Brad lines in this.
Oh, okay.
So
This is mostly a story.
That's that lesser known song.
I'll say this.
There was
Brad.
Blurred lines and then there's Brad lines.
Yeah, that was my Weird Al version.
It's you dancing in front of a white wall.
Yeah.
I'll say
no
this.
women.
This
Only
story-
child.
A lot of blurs.
Yeah.
This story, I want to make it clear, this did not happen. This is fiction, but it is a good representation of our relationship and how much we love each other.
Oh, so like Gibby's like very demanding of attention. A lot of that kind of
you're
stuff.
in this too. You're not Gibby.
All right, here we go.
Are you ready?
So is Thanksgiving about ruining friendships?
This is Gibby the Thanksgiving Ghoul, the very first Thanksgiving mascot, created by Funbearable, copyright Ray Harrington. I love it. Chapter 1 is here.
Do we have like little toy piano dinky dink music
No.
to kind of lead us in?
Maybe. I would love it. Whoever's editing this, Kyle, Craig.
You know what? I always have to get the music. I'm going to be the guy being like, where's that little toy piano song that really fits Gibby?
Yeah. You know what? If you want to come up with a motif for Gibby, that'd be killer.
All right.
I mean, okay.
Just the Dark Knight.
So we're going to have fun. This is Gibby the Thanksgiving Ghoul. And if you need to pause
It's not what you gib that defines you.
if you need to pause this
You ghoul.
to comment on it,
Yeah.
that's totally okay.
All right.
This is a long
How do I
one.
eject it?
This is a long one.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a good one. I think the fans of the Funbearable after this episode comes
There'll
out,
be less of them.
They're going to say that's my favorite episode of Funbearable.
If that, oh God,
But you don't know about this yet.
I don't.
I
But
think
I
it's
know
possible.
what Gibby was.
Yeah.
No, you don't. What do you think about Gib?
This is Gib 2.0, I guess.
No, it's not similar. I will say this: Gibby the Thanksgiving Goblin.
They're totally
They're
different.
not similar. Gibby didn't even talk.
Okay.
All right.
Gibby.
Here we
Brand
go.
new Thanksgiving mascot, Gibby the Thanksgiving Ghoul, Chapter 1. Here we are.
It's Monday, November 14th, a brisk fall afternoon in Rhode Island. The trio, Chuck, Ray, and Brad, are walking through the streets of an idyllic New England town, Chuck's hometown of Warren. Brad is drinking his favorite seasonal drink, water from a reusable bottle. Chuck is drinking a coffee from a local retailer, and Ray is drinking corporate coffee in a styrofoam cup.
I'm the only one that makes my own goddamn coffee.
One might wonder, what's the difference between Starbucks and Walmart in terms of damaging local businesses? The answer is there is none, and Ray is well aware. Ray happily sips his brew and smiles, thinking of all the shuttered coffee shops around the country.
Cooper's Cask Coffee is a local Rhode Island coffee roaster that makes amazing coffee beans. I teamed up with them for Ray Harrington Must content because I believe in supporting a local coffee business.
We have to-
Cooper'sCaskCoffeeCo.com.
We have to keep going.
He is happy to contribute his hard-earned money to multi-billion-dollar companies. He snickers thinking about former coffee shop owners starving and dying in the streets. Anyway, Thanksgiving is almost here. Orange, yellow, brown, and red leaves fall from the picturesque trees. Chuck, Brad, and Ray crunch their way through a perfect autumn afternoon. They just ate lunch.
Wow, this is so nice. That lunch at Water Dog was incredible. My mouth is full of flavors.
Yeah, Water Dog is great and a relatively new restaurant here on the scene in my hometown of Warren, Rhode Island. I love it here. Brad lives here too.
I do. Brad did not express much enthusiasm. Not for the leaves, not for the stroll, and not for the season.
Thank God my taste and smell are back. COVID was rough.
Oh yeah, what happened?
I did a gig at the very real local venue called The Whites of Westport, one of my favorite places to perform. I have performed there. It's not one of my favorite places.
I love the name The Whites of Westport.
Oh yeah,
Crazy.
yeah. I have a stand-up bit, or not bit, but like a little riffy moment that happened. That's going to come out on social media about The Whites of Westport.
Good.
Got to keep everything together, dynamic stuff like that. It was a rough couple of weeks. I'm okay, but I could barely function for a while. Today is my first day out of the house. Thanks for that care package, Chuck. I can't believe you sent me the game Dying Light 2.
Did you play it immediately and enjoy it?
I did. It was the best game I ever played. You're a genius.
Chuck humbly waved him off. Chuck didn't need these type of compliments.
He wrote.
He was totally secure in who he was and didn't rely on compliments or attention or sex to make him feel okay about himself. Isn't it so fun to imagine how things could be when you're creating fiction?
There we go. Yeah. So, Chuck, what's that coffee you have there?
This is a pumpkin vanilla iced latte from the Coffee Depot on Main Street. Take a sip, Ray.
Ray takes a gluttonous chug. Gluttonous Chug was his nickname in college, and now we know why.
Wow.
Following his decadent slurp, Ray wipes his wet, dirty mouth with his sleeve, something his wife has urged him to stop doing. He feels a sneeze coming on, so he opens his shirt and sneezes all over his tits.
That was delectable. How many locations does Coffee Depot have? This is going against my Coffee Depot have worldwide.
Just one, Ray. The Coffee Depot is an independent business run by the local townsfolk, a wonderful, one-of-a-kind, blissful oasis of caffeinated heaven. And I, just to say this, I wrote the ending of this at Coffee Depot today.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Ray farts, and it's a bad one. He starts to remove his pants and leave them in a bush. He doesn't even acknowledge what has just happened, almost like it's a consistent occurrence for Ray. Chuck and Brad are shocked, but don't want to embarrass their towering friend. He takes off his red backpack and takes out a plastic bag labeled Emergency Pants, Monday, Nighttime, and slips them on. A local business owner sticks their head out their window. Hey, Chuck, looking great in that rad jean jacket.
Thank you. Ray also thinks it's rad. It's on record.
Another local business owner is cooling pies on a windowsill. Hey, Chuck, it's a great day to see you. A great man.
Those pies smell wonderful.
As the trio walks down the street, more and more business owners greet Chuck and rain down compliments. It's not unlike the opening scene in Beauty and the Beast. Chuck attempts to speak French, but isn't perfect.
Voulez-vous, Francois?
Yeah, it wasn't perfect. That was good. Yeah. Wow, you're so cultured, and this is incredible. I can't believe you live in this perfect, classic New England town, and you seem you're the king here.
No.
Chuck was humble. Some say too humble, since most indeed did see him as king of town, especially the mayor and all the government officials, but not Chuck. It didn't even occur to him. Chuck continued down the street with his scepter and ruby-encrusted crown.
I'm just a regular guy, Ray, like you. I simply appreciate where I live and see all the wonderful things around me. We have a beautiful community here. Plus, it doesn't hurt that I write for Providence Monthly and the Bay Magazine.
What does that have to do with anything?
Oh, Ray, the Bay Magazine is the top culture magazine in this area of Rhode Island. Chuck reviews all the new restaurants here. After doing the Chuck and Brad podcast, he was asked to write for Motif Magazine, then Providence Monthly, and now the Bay. You've heard of failing upward, right, Ray?
Hey, that's my favorite kind of failing. Yeah, I get to review the restaurants, and it really connects me to the community. I just appreciate good people, good food, and being merry.
Ray,
This is like a resume meets creative writing.
Wait.
Ray looks hurt.
Wow. I wish I could do something cool like that.
You can do anything you put your mind to, Ray.
Ray concentrates hard, then pulls out his waistband and looks down the front of his pants. He frowns, then sighs.
Nope, just more poops.
I'm so excited that Thanksgiving is coming up. Did you know that this was once all native land, Ray? And even though they didn't always get along, the Native Americans and the Pilgrims from England put aside their differences to come together for a magical Thanksgiving feast.
Ray rolled his eyes.
Yeah, I knew that. I went to grade school.
Wow.
That was great delivery, Ray.
You know, Ray, the Bay could use a smarty like you on the staff. I can put in a good word with my editor and get you a gig. Maybe you could become a food journalist in New England as well. Sure, I might lose some of my writing gigs to you, but I'm happy to provide for you and help you achieve your goals, even if I have to sacrifice a little for a friend.
Brad smiled at Chuck. Chuck was so thankful and giving. He loved to give thanks, and he loved to thank people for gifts. Just thanking and giving and thanking over and over. Chuck really understood the meaning of the season.
Let me call my editor. Hello? Mrs. Massasoit? Can we hire my friend Ray as a new writer for the Bay? Interesting question. I'm not sure. Let me check.
Chuck whispers to Brad. Harrington.
Oh, okay. Ray Harrington. Great. Thanks. You're in, baby!
Wow, that's great.
Ray leapt in the air with joy. He jumped as hard and as high as he could. It was as high as he ever jumped in his entire life. So high, actually, that his feet almost completely left the ground. Brad smiled upon the two friends. He thought about how delightful it was to see two separate types of peoples come together. Ray was excited for his first assignment. He jumped in his Ford Nina and drove home. The crisp autumn air slowly grew cold as day turned to night. The turkeys in the distance howled. The turkeys in the trees chirped. And the turkeys in the walls ate their cheese and squealed as they got caught in turkey traps. Morning broke, and Ray immediately grabbed his phone. He had his wife Kalina unlock it with her secret passcode because if she doesn't lock it, Ray will go on the dark web and order hookers and cocaine. Ray took the phone back. He quickly ordered a hooker and some cocaine, and then immediately checked his email.
Wow, my first writing gig.
Ray was sent to a new restaurant called Holland. It was right off Main Street in Warren. He went that night and ate a meal fit for a king, but fed to a Ray. Ray reveled in the spoils. Ray came to Chuck's house for help with the article. He parked his Ford Pinta in the driveway.
Wow, Chuck, writing this article is a little daunting. Can you help me? Any advice?
Sure, Ray. First note I have. You're holding your crayon upside down.
I knew that. It was on purpose. That's how I always hold them. They work better that way.
Ray slapped the entire box of crayons off the desk in a fit of rage. Then he set his own trapper keeper on fire. Chuck knew he was in for a long night, but he was happy to help out a fellow human being. Hours passed. We hear the hooting of a wise old turkey in a nearby tree. Several turkeys steal some discarded pizza from some toppled trash cans as they hiss at each other. A turkey flies by the moon. Ray was nearing the end of his article.
In conclusion, I like to munch and bite. The end. Wow, Chuck, we did it.
No, you did it, Ray. You wrote your first article. I just helped a little.
This is so demeaning. This is so demeaning. And we did the one for Brad, but like this feels more demeaning.
I don't think it is. By the way, you haven't even gotten to this.
All right.
I wrote the joke where he didn't know your last name, and I was like, "This is a good joke."
That is a good joke. I like it.
I think that's my contribution so far. Chuck and Ray walked to the door. Ray turned towards Chuck.
You know, Chuck, when I started this journey, I knew it would be fruitful. Coming to a new land, the land of journalism, is a long, hard sea of difficult ups and downs, as well as unforeseen obstacles. But now that I'm in this new land of journalism, it's so fortuitous to have a native guide who already thrives in this land of journalism. And the fact that you are welcoming me to your land of journalism really shows the type of person you are. Without a native guide like you in this new land of journalism, who knows? I might have starved or died from tuberculosis. That would have been like hundreds of years later. I figuratively, of course.
I know exactly what you mean. Just because I was already in this land doesn't mean I can't welcome new peoples to share my land. I'm happy to help you, Ray.
If this is historically accurate, I think I'm gonna hurt you. Oh, and Chuck, one last thing. I want to credit you in the article as helping me. I know your name is Chuck Staten, but what's your full name? Everyone knows that a true journalist can't be credited without his middle name.
Squanto. Chuck Squanto Staten.
Rolls off the tongue.
Ray and Chuck left each other, tired and hungry after so many ham-fisted metaphors. Chuck heated up some maize for dinner as Ray went home and crunched on hardtack. A few days later, Ray's article came out. Now, Chuck may have helped with the article, but Ray came up with the title all on his own. New food place is tasty. Over the next few days, Ray was shocked at how much acclaim he was getting for his first ever journalistic endeavor. Ray called Brad enthusiastically that Wednesday morning.
Brad, are you listening to me? 7 likes and 3 comments. Sure, a few of them are my wife, my mom, my son, myself, and my other fake accounts, but holy turkeys, this is going so much better than expected. I feel like the king of this new world of journalism. It's mine for the taking.
Brad sadly hung up the phone. From how it sounded, Ray didn't sound thankful, nor was he giving. The lack of those 2 adjectives bothered Brad. Giving is more of a participle in this case, but I digest. Brad sighed slowly and walked into his basement. He didn't think it would come to this. Ray walked around his house with a large black cowboy hat he found in a dumpster.
Yee-haw! I'm the sheriff of this new land.
Ray had his own makeshift sheriff badge that he made from paper clips and a bottle cap. His lips and cheeks were covered in SpaghettiO sauce, and he smiled his signature captivating toothy grin, proud of his new article. Ray's head was larger than most. It was roughly the shape of a deflated beach ball. The cowboy hat only fit Ray because he had forced it on, which had caused it to tear, and the tear was getting worse. Ray grabbed one of those weird mop handles with a stuffed animal head on it, slapped his own ass, and jumped around his living room. The house shook uncontrollably. Turkeys around the neighborhood cowered in fear. At some point, Ray's violent head shaking and bouncing caused his black cowboy hat to tear in half completely, and it fell to the ground. Ray picked it up.
So you just do like a lazy fat joke?
Nope.
No fat joke.
The house shook?
That's not
Because
about
I was
that.
jumping around?
It would shake if we hadn't jumped around.
All right. Oh, piss.
He looked at the 2 halves of his hat and wondered what to do. Suddenly, an idea struck him. Ray quickly ripped off his belt and tied it around the black hat. His belt buckle fit nicely, front and center. He popped that baby back on his coconut and started hopping and bopping again, celebrating his win and frightening his family. Back in Warren, Chuck was making a new coat rack out of a buffalo jawbone.
And that's the last part. Phew, nothing wasted.
Chuck's phone beeped and squeaked. He had fashioned it out of a buffalo penis. Chuck touched the phone gently to his lips.
Hello? Yes, this is Chuck Squanto Staten. Wow. Really? Why, yes, I'd love to. I have to make sure I'm not filming that day in New York with my celebrity friends. It could be any of them. Mark Norman, Joe List, Kevin Smith, Mike Birbiglia, Drew Barrymore, Quinn from Practical Jokers. I'll have to check with all of them to make sure I can do it. But I have a request. If I can't review this new restaurant, can my friend Ray Harrington be my understudy? I know he's new and there's no such thing as an understudy for journalists, but I'd like to help him in this new world. The new world of writing. It's a metaphor.
Chuck hung up his phone and connected to his Bluetooth headset, which he had made out of buffalo testicles. He tenderly cupped them into his ears and called Ray.
Hello, Ray Harrington, king of the new land.
Hey Ray, this is Chuck. How are you feeling after your first article?
Chuck, I'm feeling great. You know, at first I was a little hesitant about being in this new space, but now I'm feeling very comfortable and like I deserve to be here.
I'm glad you're happy, Ray. Just wanted to let you know. I just got a call to review the hottest restaurant in town, Plymouth Rock.
Wow, that place is supposed to be amazing. I mean, a little smaller than I expected, but important nonetheless. Damn, I wish I was reviewing it.
Interesting you mentioned that. I actually told them that if for any reason I can't do the article, I want them to get you to do it. I want the best for you, and I want you to thrive in this new journey. But for now, I gotta go.
Chuck hung up his phone and plugged in his phone charger, which was made from a buffalo clitoris. Ray lowered the phone to his side.
I'm amazed he found it to carve it.
That's the least realistic part of this story.
He asked somebody else. No, I knew. Damn. I want to go to Plymouth Rock. I don't care if Chuck has been in this world first, or if he's already learned how to thrive here, or if he's helped me. I deserve that article, not Chuck. I'm me, Ray. I'm so much more civilized than Chuck. His beliefs and principles are archaic to me. He dresses so differently than me. He has different ways of living, and he wears those weird cloth shoes. What are they called? Oh, yeah, high tops?
Ray paced around his office. He played with his blocks for a little. He had his bottle and a nap. But he was still mad that he wasn't the one getting to do this new article.
Man, I'm Chuck's writing understudy, but that means nothing if Chuck is physically able to write the article. I wish Chuck was out of commission. Then this new land would be mine for the taking. The land of local Rhode Island journalism, I mean. I'd be perfect. It would be perfect if he had the plague or rubella or...
Ray's eyes widened. He smiled that evil, toothy grin of his.
Or COVID.
Ray skittered outside and peeked in his trash can.
Perfect. Kalina hasn't taken out the trash yet this week.
Ray grabbed a nearby broom from when Kalina last swept.
What the heck is this thing? No matter, I can use this to get the COVID blanket without recontaminating myself. This is not how COVID works. This is not how
Be careful. Be careful out there.
Do your research.
We're just asking questions. Ray futilely tried to get the blanket from a few feet away, but couldn't quite fish it out.
Piss. I'll have to. Now that's the tradition I can get behind. The fact that we use piss all the time, delightful. That should be our thing, right?
Yeah, for
piss.
sure. We're adding it.
Piss. I'll have to use something else.
Ray scampered back inside and spotted a vacuum from when Kalina last fed Ray his morning Cheerios.
on the reverse setting, right? Perfect. My sex robot will help me again.
Ray grabbed the vacuum and turned it on. He used the hose to suck the COVID blanket into the vacuum.
Yes, score. Now I just have to get this blanket to Chuck, and Plymouth Rock will be mine in no time.
A being hovered by a nearby mailbox, watching Ray's every move. The next day, Ray drove his Ford Santa Maria to Chuck's house and dashed inside.
Hey, buddy. You know how you like gifts?
I love giving gifts. Yes, it's a way of my people.
But receiving them is pretty cool, right?
I don't know. Seeing the joy in a friend's eyes is a true blessing in me soul.
Wow, you're so wrong. Getting gifts is way better. The way I look at it, if someone gets me a gift, they get the gift of giving me a gift. Then they get to tell people, I gave Ray Harrington a gift. And that is its own gift.
A shadowy figure looked in through the window at Ray and Ray's ruse, disappointed.
Anyway, I got you a thing. You know how you're always saying how cold you are?
Ray puts on a gas mask and takes a package out of a hermetically sealed case. Using 6-foot-long tongs, he passes the gift to Chuck before taking off the gas mask so he doesn't have to do an allegedly funny gas mask voice and say, Luke, I am your father.
I got you this blanket with a picture of your favorite celebrity on it. You! It's your own face on the blanket, 5 feet by 7 feet with your gap tooth included, which takes up roughly 2.5 feet. The guy at the blanket store told me it's their #1 seller.
Wow, thank you. The only time I see my head this big is when I look in the mirror.
Chuck giggles. He's self-deprecating and likes to poke fun at himself. This shows that he truly is a good guy. He doesn't even realize how amazing he is.
It's scratch and sniff too, buddy. So, make sure you take a big whiff of the fabric. Just get your nose down deep and sniff whatever's there. Anything and everything. Just take it all in.
That's weird. It smells like germs, but it also kind of smells like a hoax.
No hoax here. Just a warm, fuzzy blanket to keep you ready for your big review tomorrow.
I can't wait. By the way, just want to let you know, it is going to snow tomorrow, so if I can't go to the restaurant, make sure you're prepared to get there through the snow.
Shut up, you dumb twat. Go cuddle your infected blanket. Give me a call tomorrow when you're nearly dead.
Wait, what was that, old friend?
I said, nut up, you kumquat. Befuddle an insect and spank it. Give me a call tomorrow about your yearly bread.
Oh, well, I am making my famous pumpkin seed loaf in the morning, and I can only make it once every fall harvest. And I do have to confuse the fruit flies and then swat at them to get them away from the old pumpkins out back. Thanks for remembering.
Phew, that was close.
What was that?
I said, P.U., I smell gross. Now I get it.
That's also accurate. Bye, Ray. I think every other line you can do, whatever.
Just that one made me look dumb?
Well,
All right. Now we play the waiting game.
As Ray made his way back to his house, the oddly shaped figure that had been following him started slowly lumbering towards Chuck's front door as the scene fades to black. Suddenly, it's morning. A turkey caws in the distance. Chuck called Ray.
I don't feel so good, Mr. Ray. I don't think I can review that restaurant today.
Oh, that's too bad, buddy. I guess I'll claim Plymouth Rock all for myself.
Well, that's not how my people view things, Ray. My people, meaning food journalists, we believe that you're simply contributing to this world and coexisting with your other writers.
Oh, suck shit.
Ray hung up the phone, gave a few spins to his speak and spell. The turkey, as always, said moo. Then Ray jumped in his Chevy Mayflower to start his trek to Plymouth Rock. Ray didn't notice that someone, or something, was laying down in the back. Ray didn't notice the gravy spilling out from under his front seat. Ray didn't notice that was cranberry sauce streaked down the outside of his vehicle. But soon enough, he would wish he had. He started driving through the snow. His vehicle was slipping and sliding all over the place. And Ray was hungry.
God, I'm starving. I can't wait to get to bountiful Plymouth Rock. Maybe I should have planned better. This snow is becoming a real problem. It's getting deeper and deeper, and it's becoming harder to drive. But I'll be okay. I'm Ray. Divine intervention will keep someone like me safe.
The hours passed. The snow fell harder and harder and harder. Ray was originally going 60 miles an hour, then 45, then 30, then 20, and now he was down to 10 miles an hour. We had a long way to go.
God, this is getting tough. Maybe Chuck was right. I should have prepared for it. Maybe I should have listened to someone who's used to this life.
Ray thought for a second.
Nah, I'll be fine. I'll manifest my own destiny.
From the back seat, suddenly, Ray heard a moan.
Read it.
I'm supposed to moan Thanksgivingly.
Gobble, gobble.
Out of nowhere, the car filled with the sweet smell of pumpkin roll and apple pie. It was overwhelming, intoxicating. Ray was so entranced by the smell that his eyes rolled back in his head and he nearly fell asleep. Until... Am I doing this voice or are you doing the voice? Wake up, Ray!
It says
Not
in
a
a
ghoulish-
ghoulish
Oh, sorry.
voice.
Wake up, Ray! Is that better?
Well, you're establishing the voice that you're going to have to consistently
Yeah.
do. So I would keep that in mind.
Right. Well, I didn't. I was like, oh, I'll talk with Chuck about this ghoulish
Yeah.
voice.
Ghouls don't yell.
All right. Wake up, Ray!
Sure.
All right, yeah.
Ghoulish.
Whoa, what the hell? Who are you?
My name is Gibby. Gibby the Thanksgiving Ghoul. Gibby was a ghoul through and through. Since a ghoul is technically a catch-all for other monsters, Gibby had an element of each of those monsters. The claws of a wolfman, the hat of a witch, the neck bolts of a Frankenstein. the white wraps of a mummy wrapped around his body, the pointy ears and haircut of a Dracula, and most obviously, the decomposing body of a zombie. His eyes were sunken in, his nose was that of a rotting corpse. But Gibby the Ghoul wasn't to be pitied, nor was Gibby here to frighten or terrorize. No, Gibby was a Thanksgiving Ghoul. To off-put his dark demeanor, Gibby was dressed in a turkey costume. A ratty, smelly, dirty turkey costume with a thin layer of brown feathers. It was obviously something that had never washed or even been taken off. Gibby had one single large yellow tooth right in the middle of his sinister smile, looking like a single cooked corn niblet. He smelled like a combination of decadent pumpkin spice and deplorable haunting death. Gibby's suit was open in the front, revealing his mummy-wrapped body all the way down to his crotch. There was a tuft sticking out where the zipper met his waistband. But the tuft was not of pubic hair, just stuffing on top of stuffing on top of stuffing, spilling out the top of Gibby's pants. Gibby sat there proudly, obviously waiting for Ray's warm welcome.
Hi, I'm Ray Harrington. I was on Conan.
Ray, I'm here because you have a lot to learn about the true meaning of friendship.
That's
I'm changing the voice.
read what you described this thing as.
Yep.
And then do that voice.
I already committed to the voice. I can't do the voice.
It's somebody like falling apart. Think of this like the whole body
It's like
like
zombie-ish.
falling. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I can't do
But
it.
like a mess who's like somebody helpful. Like,
Like the Pet Cemetery.
I'm here because you have to learn about
I'm
the
here
true
because
meaning
you-
of friendship. Imagine
Yeah.
they're drunk.
Ray, I'm here because you have a lot.
Yeah, that's great.
Voice. I'm losing it.
Ray, I'm here because you have a lot to learn about the true meaning of friendship.
Now I'm happy again. You're asking for a lot of character development from a guy who shit his pants 3 times already in this script.
3? I only counted 2.
Ray pulls out the waistband of his pants. There's nothing there but a pitiful nub of skin. At first, Gibby thought it was an infected skin tag, but no, Ray's penis. But curiously, it was clean as a whistle.
Oh wow, I must have just felt the warmth of the heated seats. Huh. I'll have to remember to ship my pants later.
Raymond, until you listen to and appreciate the people around you,
Perfect.
you are destined to wander these snowy lands alone until you expire. It happened with the people of Roanoke, it happened to the people of Jamestown, and now it could happen to you, Ray.
It's perfect. It's almost like a Nixon.
It is. By the way, that's a really good voice.
Yeah,
That is
no,
not
it
a good
is
voice.
because
I've gone through 6 of them in that line about Roanoke.
but
and
it's like the
Jamestown.
waddle of a
That was
turkey,
very
you know.
good. Yeah, it's very good. We're making a character.
a permanent, lasting character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be around forever.
It could happen to you, Ray.
Don't think just because you have a pretty little mouth that I'm going to listen to you. Okay, I took this writing job because I wanted to practice journalistic freedom. I'm going to complete my pilgrimage to Plymouth Rock, and I'm going to eat a cornucopia of food and then write a cornucopia of words about the whole cornucopiaing experience. And there's nothing you can do about it. And then, I'm going to purchase Louisiana.
He was off by like 180 years, but I once again digest.
Fine. Continue on your journey.
That's good.
So Ray did. He drove about 10 more feet. His car slid off the road and down an embankment, continually rolling and killing several turkeys on the way down. Ray is upside down.
Aw, piss. By the way, I am selling what I'm
doing
saying.
Great. You're doing
All right.
great.
Yeah.
Ray got out of the car and blundered into the snow. With each step he took, the cold felt colder and the snow felt snowier. The wind chilled him straight through to his bones. He shit his pants to stay warm.
Stupid ghoul. Thinks I don't know the true meaning of friendship. That ghoul doesn't know shit about dick. Friends are there to help you get what you want, and then you stab them in the back to get even more. What else is there to know?
After what seemed like hours, Ray realized he was barely making progress in the deep, deep snow. He looked back at the car to see how far he'd gone. Gibby waved back at him from the windshield, a mere 7 feet away. Ray rolled his eyes and returned to the car to get some shelter from the elements.
Damn it. What the hell am I gonna do? They might fire me if I don't get there.
Maybe you need to understand what you have and appreciate those who helped you out.
I'm just going to ad-lib. What? Roll down the window. I can't hear you. What? All right, so, listen, Ghoul, I don't need your attitude. I don't need you. I've made it this far on my own. I didn't need help from anyone.
Ray was in a full-on tantrum now, the same way he gets when someone praises Jurassic World or says a female comedian is funny. Tears and snot streaming down his face, beating his fists against the steering wheel, squealing, oinking, and clicking his hooves like a turkey in shit.
Didn't need anyone?
No, not anyone. Just...
Ray thought about it, about all the good Chuck had done for him. It was Chuck who bought him Dying Light, too. It was Chuck that connected him to the magazines. It was Chuck that helped with the article. Pulling back the curtain, it was Chuck that wrote all of his jokes for Ray's appearance on Conan and came up with the entire Ray Harrington persona. It was Chuck. Chuck all along. Everything good about Ray's life was Chuck. And so just to be clear, that's not how Chuck feels. Chuck didn't think of things that way. Chuck liked to spread the accolades around and credit those who deserve it. Chuck liked to help his friends without ever even remembering that it was his brilliant mind that was responsible for any and all success of those around him. Ray finally saw the truth of how he'd acted. He hadn't appreciated Chuck and even gave Chuck a viral disease in order to steal his work. Ray was ashamed for the first time in his life. Gibby saw Ray's face. Gibby knew what Ray was finally learning.
Oh no, Gibby. What have I done? And what can I do? The true meaning of life is appreciation for those around you, for those who care about you, for those that you bond with. Your friends and family are all you have. The people you laugh with, the people who share your troubles, friends are to be loved and to be shared with.
Ray hung his head in shame. The belt buckle fell off his black hat onto the floor. Gibby smiled.
Ray, I think you've learned.
Gibby smashed through the windshield and started shuffling in front of the car. Now that Gibby was standing, Ray could see that Gibby's genitals were collected in a healthy lump in front of his pants. Was it a curled, sweaty, stinking penis? Could it have been a large, flowering, overflowing, meaty ball of labia?
Oh my God.
It could be either. It could be both. But Ray couldn't tell. As Gibby's genital bulge... Yes. As Gibby's genital bulge dragged and scraped along the ground behind him, a thick
ooze of gravy.
Yeah, thick ooze of gravy was left in its wake, not unlike a snail. Ray didn't realize what Gibby was doing until he saw Gibby's giblet gravy melting the snow. Gibby was clearing a path. There were little lumps in the gravy made of garlic and pieces of turkey skin for Ray's tires to get traction. Gibby pulled a 20-foot cheddar baguette out from his turkey suit. He threw one end to Ray. Ray promptly chomped down on it and held tight with his teeth. Gibby turned back towards the snowy road and started moving forward. Slowly but surely, Gibby pulled Ray in his car all the way to Plymouth Rock, the very conveniently named restaurant. Ray stepped out of his car and turned to Gibby.
We made it! I can't believe it! But I feel so guilty. I took this from Chuck, and now he's sick at home with COVID. I feel like a straight-up grade A POS.
Why don't you go inside, Ray?
That was just Nixon. That was
Why don't you go inside, Ray?
Ray was curious at Gibby's response. He slowly walked through the door, only to see his wife, his son, his entire family, and all his friends, including a healthy Chuck Squanto Staten.
What? How?
Ray, I need to apologize. Gibby showed up at my door last night and warned me about the COVID blanket. I knew your plan, and I pretended to be sick this morning when I called you. I'm sorry.
But why did you do that?
Well, Gibby and I had a long talk, and Gibby thought this might be the only way for you to learn the true meaning of Thanksgiving.
Chuck gestured to the table. It was a 15-foot Viking table filled with beautiful Thanksgiving turkey, bowls of gravy, oceans of mashed potatoes, yams, several types of stuffing, all the fixins. And Ray was fixin' to come clean.
Oh my gosh. Is today Thanksgiving?
Gibby smiled warmly at Ray.
I was so wrapped up in my own ego that I didn't realize it. Chuck, your apology is accepted. But Chuck, I need to apologize to you. I'm so sorry I tried to get you sick with COVID blankets. I thought I'd be better off in this new land of journalism. I barged in and took over like I always do. But we're better together. Not just you and me, but everyone should be working together and appreciating each other. That's what makes this new world special and different.
I agree, old friend. How about we enjoy this bountiful feast and give thanks together?
I'd like that. I'm really thankful for our friendship. But wait, we need the entire Fun Bear Jamboree here to truly celebrate Thanksgiving. Where's Brad? Wait, Brad, he's been absent this entire time. Almost suspiciously so.
You know, guys, I actually think Brad's presence has been here, even if you don't know it. But my work here is done.
Just then, a casket popped out of the ground in a puff of cranberry smoke with a silhouette of a turkey on the front. The door popped open. Gibby crossed his arms, closed his eyes, and fell back into it as it returned to the depths of hell. Just as the smoke cleared, Brad walked in the front door, brushing casket crumbs off his chest and kicking gravy off the soles of his shoes. He was out of breath, like he had been running through the snow for a while and maybe also towing something. Sorry I'm late. Did I miss anything? The boys all sat down at the table, their mouths watering. Ray was ready to say grace and bask in a night of love, laughter, and appreciation. He turned to Brad.
Brad, you're not going to believe it, but I met a ghoul who taught me the true meaning of Thanksgiving.
Oh, silly Ray. Ghouls aren't real. Brad winked at Ray. Ray understood the message Brad was sending.
Brad, I appreciate the offer, but I am married.
Brad retracted his wink.
Ray, are you ready to say grace?
Chuck handed Ray a microphone made from a buffalo tit. Ray smiled at Chuck. He grabbed his microphone and his glass. He stood up out of his chair. The entire restaurant, as well as Ray, Chuck, and Brad's families, all turned to Ray to hear what this master wordsmith had to say. Ray smiled that haunting, beautiful, garish, toothy grin and opened his mouth.
I shit my pants again.
The end.
And that is the script you wrote.
All right, that was chapter 1. Chapter 2, written by Ray Harrington in 2023. So here is Gibby chapter 2, what Ray referred to as Gibby Rides Again. And this is his chapter. And then that's all you need to know. You'll be caught up for tomorrow, which will be the 2024 Thanksgiving special for Funbearable. Gibby the Thanksgiving Ghoul, chapter 3, written by Brad. And man, you guys are going to love it. Really hope you enjoy this. And then, like I said, back to the TESD Town Takeover next week with Jimmy the Hair Guy as we get into our Christmas episodes this year. So enjoy this. Thank you guys very much and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you guys scripts.
Thank you.
They're beefy.
All right.
They're beefy
And we're going to do our best not to read ahead. We've never seen these.
Yep. You guys don't know what these are. I haven't shown you anything. I haven't told you about any beats or anything like that.
Nothing.
We are going to use our usual pact when you guys write something I don't know, or if I write something you don't know, and also when we do Stranger Than Fiction.
Strangers in Fiction, yeah.
Yeah, we don't know those scripts either. So same rules apply.
Yes.
Script for you.
Yeah.
Script for you. Your names are clearly, present for your things.
Right.
And I will also be the narrator.
Good
Okay.
choice.
And there will be one character part that's brief for Brad.
Okay.
That says the character name and also Brad.
Okay.
So you'll see that.
Yeah. Great.
And then if there's other I'll take care of whatever else.
Right.
You do you.
I'll
And
say
we'll have fun.
last year's script was not this many pages, but I
Yeah.
took a lot of grief because I printed on both sides of the pages last year.
Oh, no.
my
And I'm like, I was using
you saved
Staten's
trees.
landscaping resources.
So I just read the beginning. I just see it's called Gibby the Thanksgiving Ghoul Rides Again.
Yes.
So this is Gibby the Thanksgiving Ghoul, chapter 2. Gibby the Thanksgiving Ghoul Rides Again. I really like that.
Yeah,
I think that's a great
I figured,
title.
why not?
Yeah, that's great.
There is a brief note at the top as well, just so you know. There is some subtle product placement in this script. It's hardly noticeable, but comes with monetary compensation to the author.
Okay, great.
I just wanted to throw that out there.
Right.
So, viewer, listener, settle in, get cozy, throw a fall-colored blanket on.
Wear a turkey apron that you found in Chuck's mom's decorations.
Sit close to the fire, but tuck your genitals safely away from the flames.
Yeah. From and please don't be careful with some polyesters and things
melt.
like that. Yeah. Have a nice cup of cider
Oh, good. Yeah.
and a slice of pumpkin or apple pie.
And put gravy on it to see if that tastes good. I've never tried it.
We'll find out. Let us know. Email us, funbearablepod@gmail.com.
How did
Is
it
that
taste?
gravy good on that pie? No? All right.
I
Thank
didn't
you.
think so.
Our tale begins in late November as people start to turn inward toward winter. It's Thanksgiving Eve, and the Funbearable boys, TM, are just wrapping up a tight 240-minute episode of the podcast. Ray is wearing a seasonally appropriate flannel. Chuck is in his usual Thanksgiving attire, a pilgrim outfit complete with tall hat and clunky shoes.
Yes.
Brad is wearing his Thanksgiving outfit. His face painted red and accented with what he calls war paint, a suede and leather outfit, and a full headdress. This is also what Brad often wore on Wednesdays, but you could tell it was Thanksgiving because he had, in his words, toned it down for the lefties. I know what the boys are wearing isn't critical to the plot of this tale, but it's good to remember. Throughout this entire story, this is what they're dressed like. The podcast comes to a close.
And we're sorry for being Funbearable.
The boys nod at each other and Ray hits stop on the recorder. Sorry we had to cut the Thanksgiving episode short, fellas, but I think we had some fun stuff in there.
Well, you guys were fine, but the segment that I did was killer.
The whole show was aces, but I still don't know why you wouldn't let me do my list this week again.
I don't know. I mean, probably not great for Thanksgiving.
Fuck that noise. I'm doing the list for our Christmas episode. Top 20 words from the 90s that I can't say anymore for some reason.
I thought it was 10 words.
It's up to 20 now, slit slut. Oh, make that 21.
Ray thinks about pushing back, but realizes it's a losing battle. He quickly changes topics before Brad reads his list to them again. I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving tomorrow. My in-laws are coming over for dinner, and my wife always makes this amazing green bean casserole. He's cut off by Chuck, now incredibly animated. His construction paper hat wiggles and jiggles as he vibrates with glee.
Yes! I love green bean casserole. I once dated a girl who used to put gummy bears in her green bean casserole. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. You ever think about that?
That's the most accurate thing. Brad and Ray look at him, unsure of how to respond.
Have I ever thought about that thing you just told me? No.
Well, I have. It's weird. Remember that girl, Brad, we dated like 2 years ago? She was a hemophiliac and was terrified of scissors. She was always bleeding everywhere. I had to take her to the prom, and she got a nosebleed in the limo. So crazy.
That was last year. What does this have to do with Thanksgiving?
She did the crazy gummy bears thing. Anyway, I am psyched for Thanksgiving. One of my favorite days of the year. It's the day where we have a great meal and people tell me how grateful they are to have me as a friend, family member, or lover.
No, Chuck, it's not about...
Friend, family member, lover. Only those three. And I have a strict rule that you can only be one of those three.
Blech.
I have broken that rule.
Thanksgiving isn't about people thanking you, Chuck. It's about recognizing what you have and being grateful for it and for the people closest to you. If you're lucky, you can appreciate it and maybe give back as best you can. Chuck rolls his eyes and pretends to choke on his own tongue until he almost does choke on his own tongue, and that scares him enough to stop.
Whatever you say, big guy, you do you. See, that was very understanding of me. You're welcome.
Close enough. And hey, sorry I have to get running early. You know, I have to get to the homeless shelter. Tomorrow is the big day, after all.
Yeah. You're always going on about that gross place.
Seriously, between you always fucking going on about your innocent child who needs you to be present and active in his life.
And the wife. Don't forget about the wife.
Sorry, guys. I just want to help when and where I can, you know? Feels like the reason for the season and all, but I still love and respect you both and cherish our friendship. I just believe that charity is something we should all take time for.
Fuck that noise. Bunch of finkin' bozos who can't get their shit together don't deserve soup and warm beds. I'm always saying that.
You are always saying that.
Yes, I'm always saying that, and I'm saying it now. Nothing good can come from trying to lift up those less fortunate. I got's mines. Fuck charity. Fuck charity right in its poor, dirty ass. Right, Chuck?
Brad was very different off mic than he was on the podcast. Ray and Chuck worried about when people would find out.
Hey, while I agree that the homeless are a scourge on our fine society, just like BLM and the LGBTQ plus community, I still believe in some charity.
Well, that's something at least.
Yeah. Every Thanksgiving, I make sure to invite Brad to dinner. That's charitable. We all know he's going to finally do it on a holiday.
Damn right.
I'm charitable. I'm the most charitable person in this room, in this building, in this town, in this state. The governor should give me a medal for how humble and generous I am. I'm more charitable than Jesus Christ, and everybody loves that guy. I try to volunteer all the time, but they don't let me. Just because there isn't a Big Brothers Little Sisters program I keep asking about.
I fucking told you, Chuck. They don't have a program for older men to mentor younger girls. That's not a thing.
It should be. For instance, just last week, I was teaching a young person to read.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, I was on a date and she was having trouble with the menu.
You should be holding a cigar while you do that. I was on a date. She was having trouble with the menu. In the spirit of Thanksgiving, I'm going to let that one go.
And those mazes on the back can be very tricky.
A heavy silence falls on the trio as they gather their things. Ray and Brad thinking about the intervention they have planned for Chuck after the holiday season. Chuck thinking about the word search he and his date had struggled through last night. Who even looks for diagonal words? Ray throws his Belroy sling bag over his shoulder. The weight of the bag seems like nothing for how well balanced the bag is. He thinks for a moment about how durable the bag is, how reliable and well crafted. Belroy sure can make a fine product. I'll see you guys later. If I don't see you before Thanksgiving tomorrow, I hope you have a lovely time with your family, Chuck. And I hope you have a lovely time with Chuck's family, Brad.
You know it. And say, that's a great sling bag, by the way. I always think about it, but I haven't said it out loud. It's really something. It looks like it's perfect for your frame, but would be equally great on anyone.
I was going to say the same thing. Beautiful fucking bag. Who makes it anyway? I can't tell because it doesn't have the usual big branding on it that most bag makers have on their products.
Oh, thank you. It's from Belroy. They're a terrific Australian company that takes pride in making quality products with sustainable materials.
Wow. Belroy sounds like a great company.
Fucking Belroy.
Belroy.
Belroy. Anyway, gotta run. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
See you later, fucko.
Ray leaves and Chuck and Brad gather their things. Brad slowly puts his Chicago Bears jacket on over his beaded vest, careful not to get red face paint on the collar. The jacket is torn and stained and smells awful.
God, that jacket stinks so bad. When are you going to let it go?
Brad strains to get his arm through the sleeve. It sounds wet. He glares at Chuck and raises a now wet fist, ready to throw a punch. Chuck winces and flinches, his face scrunched up, his hands raised in submission. This happens a lot.
I told you already, motherfucker. I'm not washing this starter jacket until my beloved Chicago men win a game.
Yeah.
Or until they go a full season without a sex scandal. I made this oath in middle school, and I'm not about to back out on those deep dish fuck shits now. Go Bears, dipshit.
Brad flips double birds and backs out of the room, pausing at the threshold to make an exaggerated jerk-off motion back at Chuck.
One day people will see who you are off mic, and they'll be shocked.
Fuck those people. Worse than the homeless. Later, jag off. See you at your parents' house. You better tell your mom to make the plainest boiled meats just for me.
Brad fakes another punch and Chuck stumbles back in fright, knocking his construction paper pilgrim hat to the ground. Brad can be heard laughing to himself as he walks away. Chuck collects himself. With Brad gone, he feels himself relax, the fear of this overbearing man subsiding. He thinks about the meal his mother is right this moment preparing for Thanksgiving and smiles to himself. His stomach growls. But the growling grows louder. Then a horrible smell fills the room.
Shoot, Did I just do a jizz in my pilgrim pants thinking about food again?
Chuck checks his pants, but for once they were dry. This is different. The smell is sharp and earthy, somehow familiar. Then he remembers.
Gibby? Are you here, Gibby the Thanksgiving Ghoul?
He expects a children's show style entrance at that moment, like Barney coming to life in a burst of sparkling color. Instead, a long, low, wet fart rings out, and Gibby seemingly falls from the ceiling, smacking the table hard as he tumbles to the ground. Years later, the table will be bought at a yard sale and end up as a desk in a home office somewhere. A home where the entire family is found dead in an unexplained freak accident. The investigation will claim carbon monoxide poisoning, but we know it's the off-gassing of Gibby's brief contact with the table. But for now, in the podcast studio, Gibby lays like a pile of slaughterhouse runoffs on the floor. Chuck isn't sure if he's more shocked or disgusted.
Oh my God. All right.
No.
Sorry. OMG. Oh my Gibby. What's wrong with you?
Chucky, you have to help me. I'm dying.
Cut to Brad's apartment later. Brad is preparing for his usual evening ritual in the late fall. The microwave hums loudly as 20 to 30 hot dogs attempt to rotate inside it. Last week's Bears game is paused on the TV. The Sailor Moon soundtrack plays quietly in the background. It's the only CD Brad owns, plays, and cherishes. Brad's cat Rosie sleeps sweetly on the side of the couch. Brad's love pillow Suzuki Miata sits on her side of the couch with her usual come hither look.
4, 3, 2, 1.
The microwave dings, and Brad rushes to open it and sweeps hot dogs onto a plate. A few fall on the floor. He ignores them. Rosie will eat them, or the mice. He hums excitedly to himself as he grabs a bag of buns on the counter and heads into the living room.
Finally! That took fucking forever. I thought them shits would never heat to room temperature. Now to eat my daily 20 to 30 hot dogs. Our little secret, Suzuki. Oh, I see you guys already called the couch as usual.
He chuckles to himself and sits cross-legged on the floor between Rosie and Suzuki. He tucks a napkin into the collar of his leather-beaded vest and laughs again.
Look at me. Thanksgiving Eve, and I'm an Indian sitting Indian style on the floor. You know, you're supposed to say some bullshit like a Native American sitting crisscross applesauce these days. Can you fucking believe it? Fuck that noise.
Brad slathers butter straight from the stick onto his hot dog.
Not like when I was a kid. We used to say Indian style the way God intended, because God was on our side. Yeah, times were simpler when I was a fucking kid. You could call a man a man. You could call a woman a bitch. And you could call your folks on the phone and talk about how well President Truman seemed to be handling things. Not like today. No, sir. Bunch of pussies.
He raises a fourth, or was it a fifth, hot dog to his mouth when suddenly there's a knock at the door. He slams the hot dog down and scrambles to his moccasined feet.
If that's Chuck, I'm gonna beat his fucking face through his asshole.
It's Chuck.
It's mealtime, fuckface. What do you want?
But when he sees Chuck's worried look and the wet mess of Gibby in his arms, like a horrifying version of Harry Potter holding a dying Dobby, he softens.
Oh no. What happened, fuckface?
It's Gibby the Thanksgiving Ghoul. He says he's dying.
Gibby lets out soft whimpers and moans while occasionally letting go of his bowels. But considering the dire circumstances, Chuck and Brad do their best not to notice that. It's really hard not to notice, but they do their best.
Dying? Can ghouls even die? Are they alive? Or is it like they're dead, but can also die on top of already being dead?
I don't know. I'm not some kind of ghoulologist. I don't know what to do. Do we do some magic or something?
Magic? You're crazy. I knew you were crazy the moment I laid eyes on you. Crazy. Okay, this is what we're gonna do, crazy. We'll take him to the emergency room. That's beautiful.
That was a Funbearable deep cut. That was
Saw 7.
There are, like, it's all, if you've listened to every episode of this podcast, you're in for a treat. It's all callbacks. It's oops, all callbacks.
Wow. Okay. Can science save him? Or a wizard? I have no idea how this works. Besides, we can't get to the hospital. Last time we went there, they were convinced you were abusing me, and we had to leave quickly after you started abusing me.
Brad thinks about hitting him, but decides against it. For now. Then he grabs his starter jacket with a squish.
I know a place. Get him in the backseat of my car. Him? Her? What is Gibby anyway?
I don't know. Is it important?
Not these fucking days.
I imagine you saying it directly to camera.
Not these fucking days.
The two hurry to Brad's car. Brad opens the back door for Chuck and, careful not to damage his feathers on the... sorry. Sorry, I added the headdress in later.
I get it.
Brad opens the back door for Chuck and then, careful not to damage his feather headdress, hops onto his stack of phone books in the driver's seat that is pushed all the way up. He rushes to unlock the club on his steering wheel.
Get him in the back. And don't get any of his gross liquids on my vintage porno magazines.
Chuck scrambles into the back with Gibby as they speed off.
God, what is all this?
Good old-fashioned physical media, old chum. Only the filthiest, vintagiest pornography for old Brad.
Chuck looks through the old magazines on the seat next to him.
Bare Shoulder Monthly? Polite Nod Quarterly? Women of a certain age looking stern weekly?
Oh, yeah.
Brad ignores him and focuses on the steering wheel so close to him that it's rubbing his penis with every turn. He takes the longest, windiest way to their destination.
A few weeks back, Rosie was acting sick, so I took her to the vet nearby. He said it looked like she had eaten too many hot dogs. So clearly, he's not a very good veterinarian, but he's our best option right now. Besides, the other veterinarian is, get this, a woman. Can you believe it? Hey, if I need a fucking nurse for my cat, I'll give you a call, lady.
Let me see. I'm going through these magazines. Curvy Broads with Master's Degrees Monthly? Midwestern women abusing the soda refill policy at Wendy's Weekly?
That one's nasty. We're here.
I had so much fun writing this character of Brad. Oh my God. Brad circles the block twice to climax and then screeches to a halt outside of a small animal clinic.
Hard and Wet. Porn for Canoe Enthusiasts Monthly? Chicago Sport Illustrated one-piece bathing suit edition? Librarians who have to pee daily? The Farmer's Porn Almanac?
They rush from the car. No time to continue listing off the many niche porn magazines in the back seat. This was an emergency, so they didn't get a chance to talk about Weakling Weekly, Meek Monthly, Women Who Love Boys with No Upper Body Strength Quarterly, Granny Grabbers Annual, Hottest Cold Women of the Decade, and the one paperback book titled A Lifetime of Polite Fucking, a novel by L. Ron Hubbard.
I learned a lot from the master.
Cut to vet's office. A barrage of tests are run on Gibby, who is, at this point, nearly delirious. He's muttering half words and nonsense as the veterinarian works. The vet attempts to get a blood sample, but when he inserts the needle, a putrid smell fills the room, and the sound of a balloon slowly deflating can be heard. Chuck anxiously paces in the waiting room. Brad casually thumbs through an issue of The Sexiest Walmart Greeters Digest that he brought from the car. When he sees the panic in Chuck, he tries to console his friend.
You know, maybe Gibby could use a prayer right about now.
Cool it, Brad. You know I don't get along with Jesus.
Brad shrugs and goes back to his reading, Chuck anxiously pacing and muttering to himself.
Stinking Jesus. Thinks he's better than me. People always talking about this guy on radius. My dad's a big deal too, you know.
Finally, the veterinarian calls them back to the room. Gibby is laying on the table, still looking Well, it never looked good, but it's not any better than before. The vet is visibly exhausted as he stuffs his stained lab coat into a biohazard bag. He looks at a final round of test results on the stool sample they had scraped from Chuck's hands.
Give it to me straight, Doc.
Please, I'm a veterinarian. Calling me doctor is practically stolen valor. Listen, near as we can tell, this seems to be some kind of large, mutated, featherless bird. The face is mammal-like, though, so that's a head-scratcher.
No, it's Gibby the Thanksgiving Ghoul, not a bird. Is it a bird?
Not sure, but I can put it down for you for $100.
Wait, so it is alive? I'm so fucking confused.
We're not putting Gibby down. We came here so you can save him.
Oh, it's a him. Honestly, we weren't really sure. I mean, it's peeing a lot, that's for certain. But I can't for the life of me figure out where it's coming from.
Can you save him or not?
I honestly don't know. As near as I can tell, this creature's entire biology is like nothing I've ever seen before. The only thing I was able to say with any medical certainty is that this gabagool...
Gibby the Thanksgiving Ghoul.
Yes, that Gibby here has 2 separate viral infections attacking his or her body. 2 incredibly strong and incredibly deadly viruses. Both some of the rarest diseases known to humankind. The vet spins his laptop around to face Chuck and Brad. Your Gooby...
Gibby.
Your Gumby...
Gibby!
Sorry, your Bubby...
Gibby!
The vet lights a cigarette and waves them off. Yeah, whatever you call it. Your friend Chippy here has gibmidia. And if that doesn't kill him, the equally deadly Clagibia will. I've never even heard of a creature contracting either, let alone both.
Well, how could this be?
Well, gibmidia and Clagibia. It's a medical mystery, and a cruel one at that. The doctor turns and looks out the window to ponder. Chuck and Brad look stunned and saddened. Gibby lays near lifeless on the table, just a small Band-Aid covering its presumed genitals. The vet awkwardly clears his throat. Now, there's no easy way to ask you this, but with either gibmidia or Clagibia, I have to ask you this. Son, have you... Chuck looks confused, then aghast at the question.
Oh my God, of course not.
Oh, no. I'm sorry, no. I meant, have you had sex with it?
No, I would never. I mean, have I thought about it? Of course. But I would never act on those very frequent and recurring urges.
Hey, sorry. I had to ask. It's medical policy. Speaking of which, I also have to ask. The vet leans in to whisper. Is that friend of yours ever violent with you? Have you experienced any abuse? Has he ever knocked you around if you don't have dinner on the table when he gets home? He nods his head toward Brad, who is reluctantly holding Gibby's limp hand.
No. Sometimes. Yes. This is ridiculous, Doc. You have to save him.
I'm afraid that's out of my hands now, son. He's in... A long pause. It's silent in the room except for the gush of another loose Gibby bowel. Huh. I was going to say he's in God's hands now, but that just doesn't seem right, you know? Whatever this thing is, it's nowhere near God's hands. Yuck.
Listen, you...
Suddenly, Gibby coughs and struggles to raise his head to Chuck. He mutters something. Chuck nears to hear him.
Nose.
Gibby slumps down again, exhausted. His bowels give again, and it sounds like a hose left on in the backyard. At this point, even through the concern and worry, Brad and Chuck have to wonder where it all comes from.
How can something so small contain so much liquid?
Just another medical mystery that science hasn't managed to answer yet. Nights like this, 7 weeks of online courses just don't prepare you for something like this. Do you mind? The vet holds up his phone and snaps a few pictures of Gibby's near-lifeless body. Now, what say we get this thing in a big jar of formaldehyde, hey, boys?
Never. We'll save him. We have to. Otherwise, Thanksgiving won't happen. Or it will, but it'll be bad. I don't know. The lore is very thin. All I know is that this ghoul needs our help, and I'm the only person brave enough, smart enough, and deserving enough to save him.
Chuck scoops Gibby up in his arms and turns to Brad.
He said something about Ray, that Ray knows. We have to get Gibby to him. We can't let him die, I think.
He should be done volunteering at the homeless shelter by now. Or, as I like to call it, the House of Vermin. He's got to be home by now.
Not a moment to lose. Let's go. Can you stop by Dunkin' Donuts, by the way? I want to get a maple coffee.
Gibby groans.
And a small one for Gibby.
Now Brad groans.
And a large tap water, warm, of course, for you. Let's go.
Chuck and Brad hurry out of the room. Chuck looks back to the vet.
Thank you for your help, doctor.
Yeah, thanks. Twat.
The vet chuckles to himself. Just another day as an animal doctor. Pet owners can be something. He can hear Brad calling the receptionist various versions of twant as they leave. Brad's voice growing fainter. The receptionist pokes her head into the room. She holds back, vomiting at the smell.
Doctor, Linda Genius is online too. She wants to know when you'll be finishing up.
Ah, thank you. Linda probably wants me to help with the turkey. It'll be a hard meal this year after witnessing this mess. Tell her I'll be home after I clean up.
Sure thing, Dr. Genius.
Inception sound. She leaves the room. She leaves and can be heard vomiting in the hallway. The vet looks around the now disgusting exam room. He snubs his cigarette out on a blood-soaked bandage. Now, who the hell is going to help clean this mess up? We zoom in closer and closer into a puddle of disgusting effluence on the table. A Coen Brothers-style cross dissolve into a close-up of Chuck's cup of maple latte as he sips from the back seat of Brad's car. Note, upon seeing this transition shot, Joel and Ethan Coen quit the film business altogether and open a car dealership in Fargo, North Dakota. By all reports, they are happy. Cut to Ray's house. Brad's car pulls up to the house. A sloshing sound can be heard as the car rocks to a stop. The doors open and Gibby's fluids pour out. The pair jump from the car. They stand in front of the yard, Gibby in Chuck's arms, steam rising from him in the chilly night air. Through the window, Chuck and Brad see Ray and his family inside. Warm light pours from the window, and they see Ray smiling and laughing with his wife and son. He seems so at ease here.
He looks so happy.
He looks like the happiest fuck pumpkin in the fuck patch.
Was this what Gibby wanted me to see? That I've been needlessly cruel to a good man?
Wait, what?
That Thanksgiving isn't about people being thankful for me, but me being thankful for others?
He looks down at Gibby in his arms.
Is that it, my ghoulish friend? Do I need to see that I've gone astray? Do I need to realize that it's not all about me? Have I lost the spirit of Thanksgiving and it's killing you?
Gibby opens his disgusting eyes.
No, pretty sure it's the Gibby that's killing me.
Gibby coughs and blood sprays Chuck's face. Gibby's body begins to shudder and Chuck lays him gently on the grass. Immediately, the grass browns and dies. Brad grabs the emergency first aid kit from his trunk. A box of Band-Aids, an EpiPen, a full-size defibrillator that he won in a medical auction, one condom just in case, emergency rations containing 3 cans of Mountain Dew Code Beige, and a pack of freeze-dried hot dogs. He grabs the defibrillator and slams the trunk. Chuck and Brad, on their knees, look over Gibby. They can both sense it's nearing the end.
Stay with me, Gibby. We've come so far. We are so close now. We're just outside Ray's house. You remember Ray, don't you? The big boy from last Thanksgiving? You said Ray knows. What does Ray know? How can Ray save you?
I wasn't saying Ray knows. I was saying anus.
W.T. Fuck.
Shush up, Brad. Just shush up and listen. Bradley Abigail roar.
Chuck feels a rush as he finally stands up to Brad. Chuck would just have to deal with the inevitable beating for Brad later. His nipples would pay for that outburst and pay dearly. Chuck leans in even closer to hear Gibby as the ghoul ekes out his dying words.
The veterinarian, he asked where my pee comes from.
Do the voice and laugh at the same time.
He asked where my pee comes from. I was saying my anus. I wasn't saying Ray knows. I was saying anus.
Oh, God. This is just like a recent episode of the podcast where we coined the phrase Rainus. What a cruel callback the universe has given me. Take it back, God. Fix him, Satan. Do what you must with me, Mohammed. Whatever deity or devil can save my beautiful boy. Boy, it's boy, right?
Gibby shrugs and mutters in,
I don't know.
Please don't die again, I think. Gibby.
Gibby gathers its strength once more and holds a withered and slippery finger to Chuck's quivering lips. Chuck nearly vomits.
Don't be sad, Chucky. Gibby's never lived very long.
Hold the fucking phone. Did you just say Gibby's plural? Like that's your species and not your name?
There's nothing you can do. The Crigibia is too far along, and the Gibmidia. It was always going to be this way.
Gibby's eyes soften and sort of reverse cross. Wall-eyed, he begins to share his origin story. A panpipe cover of Sarah McLachlan's hit song, In the Arms of an Angel, plays softly. You know what? I didn't realize this, but I guess I did do Gibbadelphia.
You did? I was going to say, I'm realizing this. I'm like, you did do that.
I did do it. I threatened it, and I did it.
Yep.
Now the origin story, because you got to have that at this point.
Oh, yeah.
I was drawn to you, Chucky, because you are my father.
Whoa, reveal!
I was born in a dump, upon an old desk. Your old desk. One that you had done horrible things to. Your seed was upon that particle board IKEA laminate. Then a medical waste truck was emptied on top of it, and a meat packing plant's trash. Then a barrel with a big yellow nuclear symbol. It was fate. One cold November Wednesday in 2001, the day before Thanksgiving, there was a lightning storm, and the heavens opened up and rained down on the dump and on that desk. A bolt of lightning struck that self-assembled monstrosity, and from that strike, I was born, a ghastly creature filled with childlike joy for the holiday you call Thanksgiving, and a willingness to overlook the historical atrocities done to the Native Americans.
Oh, here we fucking go with this again. Looks like Gibby has also been infected with the woke mind virus. Do your own fucking research, ghoul. I have some YouTube videos you should watch. They're really informative once you get past the Nazi imagery they use.
I wrote coughing and farting to ignore pressure.
The world needed me then. This was 2001, just after 9/11. People needed Thanksgiving more than ever. They needed Thanksgiving love and the sharing of hearth and home with those close to them. And so, I became a totem, a mascot for the holiday with no mascot.
How can this be? This is all so much to take in.
It's a lot to process, I know. But it's all true. Gibby the Thanksgiving Ghoul's origin is the result of the grief of the nation post 9/11 and Chuck masturbating on a desk as a teenager. And that's canon.
That's fucking canon.
Yes, that is canon.
Gibby smiles weakly. Then suddenly, his weak and grotesque body starts to tremble. The end is near again. Chuck begins to tear up.
Don't cry, Chucky.
Gibby holds a shaky finger to Chuck's chest.
I'll be right here.
His finger doesn't glow or anything, but it is alarmingly wet and somehow still sticky. What's like a really gross version of honey? Because it's like that. Gibby smiles and a single brown, yellow tear rolls down his cheek.
Happy Thanksgiving, Chucky.
Happy Thanksgiving, Gibby.
A final gush of Gibby fluids, and Gibby slumps lifeless in the dead grass. Brad pushes in next to Chuck and pulls the defibrillator pads out. A whine of charging, and he presses them to what he assumes is Gibby's chest.
Clear!
A jolt of electricity shakes Gibby's body, and a burst of fluid shoots out, like someone turning over a trash can filled with rainwater. Another whine of charging.
Clear!
Another jolt and another burst of fluid, like a sick and twisted children's sprinkler.
Fucking clear!
This goes on for 20 minutes. Eventually, an exhausted Brad and grief-stricken Chuck stop. They both vomit, unsure of where it lands, letting it mix with the horror they kneel in. Their breath visible in the air, mixing with the steam coming from the gallons and gallons of never-ending Gibby fluids around them. Their shoes squish, their costumes crunchy with half-dried viscera. On a lighter occasion, Chuck would point out that they used to call this fluid mung. But it's not a light occasion. It's a somber, disgusting occasion.
Gibby is gone.
Piss.
Piss.
Piss and shit and fuck and damn.
Borderline pornographic. Brad goes to the car and returns his starter jacket. He respectfully lays it over Gibby's body, eyes still open and tongue hanging out. They make no effort to close his eyes. Chuck gets a whiff of the jacket and vomits again. Just then, the front porch light comes on and Ray opens the door to see what the commotion is on his front lawn. Chuck? Brad? I heard a Thanksgiving clatter, so I rose to see what was the matter. What are you... Oh, God, what is that awful smell? Chuck is about to explain everything to Ray. Gibby dying, the veterinarian, Brad's weird porn, all of it. But he stops. With a renewed sense of Thanksgiving spirit, there's something even more important now.
Oh, Ray. My friend and in some ways mentor and father figure.
Weird, gross, that's not even in the script.
I'm so sorry for treating you so badly.
What is that on the ground? Why is my front lawn full of dead grass?
I allowed my ego to get the best of me, and I was careless with our friendship.
Seriously, my lawn is ruined and it smells so bad. Brad interjects, overcome with the Thanksgiving spirit, too.
And I'm sorry too. I'm always telling you guys, fuck that noise. When deep down, it's my noise that should be getting fucked. That rude prank we pulled on you last Thanksgiving, writing that script about Gibby and slandering your name, it was fucked up, brother. It was uncouth. It was uncool. It was unkind. And above all, it was unbearable. Not fun-bearable, as we always strive to be.
There's like a oily rainbow slick on this weird fluid all over my lawn, guys.
And though I merely played a part in Chuck's prank script, I went along with it in my weak-ass ways. I'm just as culpable. Just as much a fuck to shit.
What? Oh, that? That's fine. It's okay. I appreciate the thought, but I wasn't bothered by that silly bit of fun. It's not like I enjoyed it so little that I swore I would write an even worse script and force you to read it on mic with no knowledge of what I had written in a gleeful fit of revenge. This trio stands silent for a beat. They break the fourth wall and stare into the camera. Anyway, we were just about to watch a movie. Why don't you come around to the backyard and I'll hose your racially insensitive outfits off and you can come watch a movie with us. Chuck bashfully kicks at a pebble on the ground until he realizes it's not a pebble, but one of Gibby's teeth.
What movie are you watching?
That was exactly as I pictured it. Oh, that Thanksgiving one. Man, I'm spacing on the name. The one with the guy, he goes on a long trip to get home for Thanksgiving?
Trains, planes, and automobiles?
No.
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
No. Oh, you know, the one with the kid with him?
Oh, it's Dutch.
No, this is in English. Brad clenches his fist. If it wasn't such a flawless joke, he'd start swinging. Oh, I remember. We're about to watch the Thanksgiving classic, Puddinhead Saves Thanksgiving.
Oh!
Come on around the back, and I'll get some towels. And I think we have some bleach for all that stuff on you and in your eyes and in your mouths.
That would be nice. We've had a pretty hard night, Ray.
It sure looks like it. Oh, and when you come in, try not to talk to my son, okay? He's been very vocal about what he thinks of both of you. And Brad, watch the language.
Sure thing. I'll put on my podcasting persona the whole night. Yep. like wearing a skin suit made of Brad, which is a metaphor. Not that I'm actually interested in wearing a skin suit.
The boys all laughed together, and so, after a thorough hose down and bleach scrubbing, the boys settle into a cozy evening watching the classic Thanksgiving film they all remembered fondly from childhood. They laughed uproariously when Puddinhead helped the turkeys escape the farm. They cried when Puddinhead lost his lucky pot. They cried laughing when Puddinhead says, "That pumpkin pie is soft." Damn it. They cried laughing when Puddinhead said, "That pumpkin pie is the same consistency as my soft pudding." And they all fell asleep on the couch before Puddinhead was crowned the Pumpkin Patch Pumpkin. Later in the night, Chuck stirs awake. He turns to look out the window at the front yard. In the streetlight, he can just see that the starter jacket and the horrific pile of mess that was Gibby is gone. The only evidence that there had been anything there at all was just a few hundred gallons of detritus and filth that covered the dead lawn. Ray opens his sleepy eyes on the other end of the couch and glances at the clock. It reads 12:06. "Everything okay? Did my son Finn ask you to leave again?" Chuck settles back into his blanket on his end of the couch, Brad snoring gently between them. He smiles. Mazzy's Stars Fade Into You begins to play.
No, I just remembered something is all. And Ray,
Yeah?
happy Thanksgiving.
They smile at each other, aglow in the warmth of Thanksgiving appreciation and the glow of the DVD menu for Puddinhead Saves Thanksgiving. Brad bolts up.
If you two don't shut the fuck up, I'm gonna moonwalk on your scrotes. Zip your lips, bitch 1 and bitch 2. Some of us are trying to sleep. Great, now my hard-on is gone.
Brad curls into an angry ball. Brad curls into an angry ball and immediately falls back to sleep. Chuck chuckles to himself. Everything is back to normal. He yawns. He'll fall asleep again, too. But for now, he's going to enjoy this moment, thinking about all the people he's grateful for in his life, to give thanks for what he had, and to know that he was truly thankful. Then he felt a small but determined poke on his side. Brad's boner was back. Somehow this was comforting, and Chuck fell fast asleep. The end.
Wow! Great job!
Gibby the Thanksgiving Ghoul rides again.
Rides again. It's such an inappropriate title for what happened.
Yeah. It is so much just like, in jokes of the podcast.
Oh, I love it.
But it was really fun to write that stuff.
Oh, that was.
Do you
that
think
came
my
out great.
guy swore too much?
No,
I think that is the most I've ever heard you swear collectively.
Yeah.
I think I just heard you swear more than any time in life.
Come over and watch a Bears game with me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the first
Well,
quarter.
there's no room on the couch, as we all know.
Yes. It's nice to see that Suzuki made her way over from the Monster Mash.
Yeah, that was great.
The
And then
20
Puddinhead.
the 20 to 30 hot dogs struggling to turn. That was a lot of fun. And the visual I had of you scooping hot dogs onto the plate was very fun.
I don't eat that many hot dogs.
I mean, in a week. How long do you think it would take you on an average if you had 20 hot dogs in your refrigerator? How long until those are gone?
Probably 8 to 10 weeks.
Really?
Yeah. No, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Probably 5 weeks. Probably 2 meals of 2 dogs.
Oh no, he's
wait.
doing it. He's he flips behind him, and it's such a chalkboard. You know what I mean?
I will
It's
say-
hot dog math.
I know you say you don't eat a lot of hot dogs, but I haven't heard anyone so quickly refer to them as dogs as opposed to hot dogs as you.
How many dogs in a week?
I mean, when you're...
Many dogs?
Let me answer your question with another question. What time of year is it?
That's a good point. When you're... I'm a mod of the hot dog subreddit, so we just call it dogs to save time.
We were at my cousin Christian's house for Halloween, and I was going through and telling everybody about how Brad eats too many hot dogs, and we were asking everybody in the room how many they ate a year. And Brad had previously told me he eats like 100 a year. He said basically, and Melissa's mom, my cousin's wife's mother, was like, I don't know, 8. And Brad's like, oh.
Yeah, in a year. That is a good question. I would say in a year, I probably eat Yeah, it's like 8 or less.
Well,
probably. I don't eat that many hot dogs.
Should we? Do you eat mostly 2 at a time? Because hot dogs aren't huge.
No, yeah, I think I usually
cookout or something?
Yeah, something like that. I'm gonna have a couple of dogs. Well, usually at a cookout, like with cheeseburgers and other things.
I go to hot dog and cheeseburger.
I have 1 hot dog
and one
cheeseburger, and I'm good. Yeah,
me too. I probably eat. I'll give you.
Brad's in the other backyard with a plate full of dogs, looking over the fence, going, "What the fuck's going on over there?"
I'm gonna say, to be closer to Brad, I eat 15 a year.
15, and you eat 100.
Probably. I probably an 8-pack ish a month because they come in packs of 8. I live alone. And it takes literally 75 seconds to prepare myself dinner.
I never thought I'd see mad about being accused of eating so many hot dogs.
It's because
Hold on, and expressing it with rage while wearing
Yeah. After coming across even more wholesome because the character you were just doing was so aggressive and swearing all the time, and now you're just like back to it. You know?
I'm so mad because like, let it go.
What's funny is, like, over the years, there's been a lot of running jokes about Brad. I'll just put that out there.
Chuck got on the PA at Walmart when we were there yesterday and was like, "The gentleman in aisle 5 eats too many hot dogs, everyone. I, Chuck Staten, deem it so."
that completely reveals that you think it's normal. I deem it so. But over the years, there's been a lot of running jokes about Brad. And previously, I think you've really been like, that's not funny. It's too sexual. It's too offensive. Like, different things we've come up with. Mm-hmm. And this one is so benign.
Yeah.
It's so G-rated.
It's so beaten into the ground. And like,
This joke is over. We get it.
yeah.
I do have a question because I, on the first pass of the script when it was done.
Oh, can I give you a big compliment?
Oh, sure.
Brad loving Mountain Dew Code Beige.
Yeah.
That is a A+ joke.
Yeah, thank
that's
you.
great. Code Beige.
Oh, I had a lot of fun. I thought you guys would enjoy the porn titles because they're very like.
gosh.
Weakling Weekly. That'd be my favorite. That's the best.
I was very happy with what was like sexiest Walmart Greeters Digest.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
one I brought in with me. Yeah.
because it reads
great.
into Reader's Digest. But anyway, so when I finished it, before I would go back and add jokes, right? Because that's what happened. I finished it in like a couple of days.
Yeah.
But then I just had it open on my computer, and whenever I could add that in, and I would do that stuff. But I read this to, big fan of the podcast and friend of the podcast, Lee Leshin.
Good guy.
Producing
Yes.
partner. Love the guy.
Loves hot dogs. Can't get enough.
He had a question about the hot dogs because I had written the thing, and he went, "Let me ask you a question. Does he eat them with buns?"
Yes.
Yeah.
And I said, "I'm pretty sure he does." He's like, "Okay, all right. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. If it was just the hot dogs, that's fucking weird." Right. And so
It's weird. I did a joke character in 2020 for like an online show. Like, I did a cooking segment and they were all terrible recipes.
Yeah.
And I just wrapped up a hot dog in a tortilla and microwaved it and ate it like that. And I was like, ha ha ha. And then I'm like, this isn't bad.
Well, I got to be
cutting
honest.
down on the
Hot
carbs.
dog quesadilla.
When you just said the thing about does he eat them with buns, I was like, I'm always looking for easy to prepare protein-based snacks. How many calories in a hot dog?
100.
How many
I don't know.
good calories?
That's
in a
not
hot dog?
Zero.
That's not so bad. I think
No. Don't look at a hot dog as a like protein bar. Okay.
It is.
Don't do that.
It's weird because it's. I know it's not healthy. I know I need to change, but also I don't have a job. I don't have a life. I don't.
Do you
have
like
hope.
this? That you made a man feel on Thanksgiving that he has to explain his hot dog eating because he's so poor?
How dare you turn and pivot as if you are on that side?
Yes.
Okay, we all know what side of the room you
This
stand
poor
on.
guy, he's destitute and he's eating hot dogs for dinner, and you're making jokes
I don't like
about
where
it?
this pivoted. I don't like this at all.
I'm fighting my cat for meals. Apparently,
No. Rosie simply gets the runoff. She knows it's going to be there. She's like a little sucker fish on a shark.
yeah.
She knows the hot dogs will come.
So what was the Funbearable Thanksgiving episode? It's like Ray berated Brad because he's unemployed and can only afford hot dogs.
I really did love making Brad so aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
And I will say I showed restraint in what your character was saying.
He knew he didn't want to make you racist, right?
Right.
Well, say
Well,
racist
a little-
slurs.
little
He's a
bit,
little
yeah.
racist, but not say the word.
Not slurs.
Yep.
I had to have a real talk with myself about you and the C word and all that stuff,
Thank
because
you.
that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So I figured you would be okay with the T word
Yes.
instead.
Well, it's British, right?
yeah. Go ahead, please.
I was just going to say, we are going to get to a place, I think, where we're setting up for next year. But I would like to say a little sidetrack. It would be fun for us to do a script one time. I don't know how exactly we would do it, where it's about the Funbearable characters that have come up over the years.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
Like
that'd be fun.
Puddinhead, obviously Gibby the Thanksgiving Ghoul, Sheila the movie slut. Like there's a bunch of them, and you could even
Abacus.
bring Abacus. Like there's a
George
bunch
Lucas.
of stuff. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff to bring
That's
in.
weird. I have 3 little ideas for next year, and like, last year Chuck did write the majority of the script, and this year Ray wrote all of it, and I'm like, I can't compete with this in terms
Yes, you
of
can.
in terms of comedy.
In terms of comedy,
Come
you
on.
100% can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can pull it out. And here's what you got.
By the way, this isn't like it's also not a competition.
Oh no,
No,
the
it's
Fun
not.
Bears are going to vote at the end of next.
Oh, they're gonna
Thanksgiving.
say if they have a favorite. Of
Yeah.
course they're gonna do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like the one where Ray shit his pants all the time. You're like,
well, it's hard to beat.
Whoa, I don't like the way you think our listeners talk.
it's just
I like the one when my mom downloads it for me. I get to listen to
it's
it,
just one guy.
and I like it because I can relate.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this here now. I think you have the biggest opportunity to surprise us with the comedy because I think that your comedic instincts are more different from me and Ray than me and Ray are from each other.
Sure, yeah.
I think he's going to surprise us. I can't wait. Come at me, come at Ray. Get your.
I don't like to come at people.
Well, you're going to get revenge on Ray and revenge on me.
I don't want to get revenge on you. I want us to all have a good time together.
That could be
Oh
part
man,
of it.
this script's gonna suck.
It's going to be basically the Care Bears Nutcracker, except at Thanksgiving.
I have another thing I'm thankful for.
I like the idea of like saying like a really timid insult about myself in the script, like reading Brad's script next year and being like,
Ray loves Applebee's.
I gotta say,
yeah. It's like, well, you know how I get, Chuck. I'm always putting the cart before the horse, and then Brad is just like, oh my god.
Brad's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I had to say that you do that.
oh man,
What I don't want it to be, though, truly, is something where it just becomes like we're reading mean things to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't do that.
No,
I refuse to be like your psyche puncher.
I have one overarching theme idea, and I have 2 joke ideas.
I will say this too. I think that me and you are both going to prioritize jokes in the script. And
Yeah.
we're going to be like story comes after. I think he's going to make a better story. I think he's going to make a
Sure.
more complete story.
Yeah,
than
yeah, yeah.
Either of the ones we came up with. I bet.
Yeah, and I'm going to tie it into the Fast and Furious universe.
Oh, that's
just
good.
in
See, of
case.
course, I
Yeah,
like that.
family.
That's great.
Totally.
Wow.
Yeah.
And plus, a couple.
I think there's a trick here too. Is that like there is a limitation where, we're reading this script together as ourselves.
Yeah.
So it is hard to start incorporating like other characters. I struggled with that. Right.
Right.
I was just like, okay, I'm only going to do the vet.
Yeah.
That'll
Yeah,
just
vet,
be the
right.
one
Oh
extra
yeah,
thing.
Dr. Genius. Woo.
It was fun to like do
That's
that at
great.
the end, like a really dumb thing that would be in a bad movie.
Yes.
Like, whoa! It turns out that was Doctor Octopus. Oh my God! You know what I mean?
I love it. No,
Yeah.
I think I'm excited for your turn. I think that was a great job.
Now,
Ray.
what do you? How do you
Assuming
feel?
we all survive to next Thanksgiving.
I think the most important.
Nobody dies
thing,
of hot dog poisoning.
I think the most important thing here, before we go, is I do want to check in with where you guys, like, how do you feel about Gibby, where Gibby ended up, how Gibby dealt with this whole process? Because Gibby literally shows up, he's already dying.
So
Yeah.
I'd say
I forgot that I had said Gibbadelphia in the first one.
I know that's crazy. I would say it's really interesting because you introduced the idea that I'm Gibby's father.
Well, it's not an idea. It's canon.
Well, that's
That
what I'm
is
saying. It's
canon. All you guys both said it's canon. And Gibby said it.
but also that there are more than one Gibby.
maybe
Right.
So I don't. Well,
we never got a
We never got a
canonical
definitive answer about that, yeah.
same thing. We didn't get a canonical answer about whether Brad is a Gibby because it
Yeah.
does. The fact that there's multiple means that who knows what happened in the first
be.
The
script.
presumed fact that there's multiple.
Right.
The assumption that there's multiple. We don't know.
It's a lot
we
of-
don't know. We also don't. To be clear, too, we also don't know where Gibby went at the end. Gibby
That's
and
true.
the jacket were gone.
It's all in the hands
Of one
of
Bradley
the creator.
Rohr.
Yikes.
Oh boy.
Like,
Do you feel bad for Gibby in some way that he suffered?
I feel like Gibby
A lot of fluid.
was okay. It was fine.
A lot of fluid.
I think of it more like a bug. Like, when a bug
Yeah.
has a weird thing happen, they probably are fine with it. They're like,
Yeah.
this happens to us. You know, caterpillar, butterfly, all that.
Yeah.
Maybe
But
it's the same thing. Maybe it's a similar thing.
I don't know. I mean, he did have chlamydia and gibmidia at the same time.
It's true.
That's a lot.
when you introduced that, I'm like, please don't have each of us have one of the diseases. Each get together. That's where I thought it was going. And I jimmed the camera like, this guy, because I thought that's where it was going to end up.
Gift to the gib guy.
That's funny.
But yeah, I think it was a lot of fun to write. Like it was one of those things where I'm writing this thing and I'm like, I'm 40 years old and with responsibilities, and I am sitting here going, and then the veterinarian is like, let's get this thing in some formaldehyde. Hey boys, like I was like, I like that he says, hey boys. Like it was so dumb.
I think one of the things that I'm really, really proud of that has become part of Ray's life is knowing the joy of writing a masturbatory script where you make people read your silly thoughts.
yeah,
It's so
yeah.
much fun.
Yeah.
It's almost a thing that I'm surprised hasn't happened on more like media like podcasts or
Sure,
YouTube channel,
yeah.
because it is so fun to live in that fucking world.
Yeah, it is a lot of
I'll
fun.
also say, Masturbatory Script is my favorite self-pleasure magazine.
There you go.
I had another question and it's gone. Shoot.
Gibby died.
Gibby.
I learned.
No, it's okay. It's all right. It's we don't have to get it.
I get it. I get
it's
it.
not maybe.
Yeah.
But you do have to write
Yeah.
something for next year.
Yeah, I've got an idea.
You know,
I can't
Kicking
wait.
around. I'm
That's
sure I
chapter
will
3.
forget.
That's the only
between now
reason
and
I
then.
felt comfortable enough to push a lot at your character. you know?
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense.
I mean,
Yeah.
like I think you really captured the true me.
yeah, exactly. That's what I think.
I really love the idea of like this is all an act.
Yes.
You
that's
guys
the best.
have no idea. Like that is what Brad's like off the mic.
Yeah.
And one of my ideas that I would love to do one time is for an April Fool's Day episode where we all switch personalities. I think that would be so fun.
I think that would only end in hurt feelings.
Yes, it would.
Yeah, for sure.
Freaky Fun Day. That would be fun. I think that'd be fun.
I think it would be called like "Where'd My Friends Go" Day.
It'd be so funny if we propose it on the April Fool's Day. Like, no. Thank you for being Funbearable. And we all go to like a haunted amusement park and they have the thing. Yeah. Like from Big.
Oh no!
Yeah. No.
I
Yeah.
wish I was Chuck.
No, that whole thing wouldn't work though because Chuck would go there and he'd be like, "I wish I was 2 Chucks."
Wow.
Oh no! Wow, 2 Chucks. Well, I know there would be dating apps would take a dip because I don't think you'd need them anymore.
No, I don't think so.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have a lot more time, I think.
I think you'd have less time.
Well, hey.
Be spending it differently.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like it reminds me of the old age-old joke. How many chucks does it take to screw in a light bulb? Right? 2, 1 to screw it in, and the other one to grab as many people as possible and go, look! What a great job that guy's doing up there. That's so dumb. I'm in the zone of this stuff.
Yes.
I do like the idea that for Thanksgiving, our 2 Thanksgiving episodes are sort of just like making people on this podcast not happy. You know what I mean? Like in a fun way.
Yes.
Like it's roasty.
I think-
It has a roasty kind of vibe
You know
to
what?
it.
There is a Thanksgiving element to it because we're looking inward and we're appreciating even the flaws in each other. Like if Brad likes hot dogs too much or
I like
whatever.
them the right amount.
and
For how many people?
And we're putting
A family of 4.
and we're
Who
saying
work at Hebrew National?
you know what? This is how we're looking at it. We're putting a spotlight on all our flaws. We all got flaws, and we're saying this script says "I love you anyway." That's what this script is saying. I love you anyway. This is who you are.
That's
Brad.
an interpretation.
subtext. Yeah, for sure.
I love you anyway.
I mean, for me, it's mostly the subtext that I had in it was, isn't it funny to get Brad to do those things? And then also, this is what Chuck's like. And then that's like, no, I'm kidding. But no, I think there's fun in it. I think it is Thanksgiving because I think it's just some friends gently ribbing each other.
Yeah. It is.
You know, it's to me, it feels like what I like that we've captured in these two.
Yeah.
You know, and thanks, viewer listener, for continuing along while we pat ourselves on the back for the last 15 minutes. I like that there's a sense of what I had like growing up when I was like a teenager. You do your Thanksgiving family stuff.
Yes.
And then you go to a friend's house or they come to your house, whoever's parents aren't around. And you hang out and you have like a fun Thanksgiving night.
Some PlayStation stuff. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
You know, this year, as always, I'll be at the Statons, and his mom makes me 2 turkey dogs. Special. Very nice. I appreciate that.
Would you eat a hot dog that was Thanksgiving themed? You know how they have the sandwich?
Yeah. I mean, it depends. I don't love cranberry sauce.
Stuffing he would do in gravy, I bet.
Stuffing and gravy on a hot dog.
Yeah.
Would you eat a turkey dog?
Yes.
With gravy and stuffing?
Yeah.
That seems so straightforward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Although to me, I'm like, it's got to have you have to have cranberry sauce because you need some sort of zing in here. Right?
He doesn't like zing.
I don't.
He's a zing-free guy.
Yeah, he is.
He'll say that he'll have a menu in his hands and go, "Excuse me, does this contain zing?
And
Can you please tell them I have a zing allergy?"
They're like,
Hold the spunk.
They're like,
That's what I say too.
they're like zinc, and I'm like, no.
Zinga.
With the
Zinga.
G.
Yeah.
Well, that I think we're ready to close the Thanksgiving episode. A tight 6-hour episode.
I hope you found it as funny as I found it when I was writing it. It was a lot of fun, and that goes for the viewer listener as well. I really like that this was a Funbearable jokes.
Yes.
thing,
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's what Thanksgiving should be.
Yes, all about our own jokes.
And hit us up on our Patreon, or not our Patreon, sorry.
Behind our paywall.
Behind our paywall.
Yeah.
When you find our paywall, check out behind it. There are 14 more pages of some of the vintage porn Brad gets up to.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
And remember, our phrase for building that paywall: build that wall. Build that.
No.
Red State Chuck.
Wait, what?
No. We've been saying bill that wall.
Yeah, because
it's
the
a
paywall.
paywall.
I see.
Build
I
that
get it.
wall.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get it. Okay.
Yeah.
I understand. But hit us up, funbearablepod@gmail.com. Happy to hear from you. Find us on socials, funbearablepod. And for Ray Harrington and Chuck Staten and Gibby the Thanksgiving Ghoul.
R.I.P.
Maybe. ...
Question mark?
Yeah.
The question is lightning going to strike after one of his previous victims digs him up? Or is a dog going to come by and piss fire on him? Because those are the two ways I know a Gibby can come back.
That's right.
I'm Brad Rohr saying thank you so much, and we're sorry for being Funbearable.
And happy Thanksgiving.
Gobble, gobble, y'all.
I like that.
What a terrible... I hate it already.